You're watching First at 5.
Students at a local high school march out of class in protest. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephanie Gorin.
And I'm George Mallet. It happened this morning at Burlington High School. There, international students say they feel singled out.
I am mad because racism still exists in this school. I am mad.
The reason why we did a protest was because me and my friends weren't feeling right about what was being said in the newspaper. I was mad at the fact that they said that most of the low scores are coming from the Africans.
Some of the students here already think we're stupid, and when that article came out, it kind of said it's true, because it kind of put it out there in words. And that kind of hurt, because I'm not stupid.
I especially appreciate what the students have done around bringing this topic to our awareness, to teachers' awareness. I feel indebted to them because I know that wasn't an easy thing to do.
I've heard accounts from many friends that I have, people that are of color, that they feel like they're being treated differently, or there's just little comments that just kind of go unnoticed especially by teachers.
It's very subtle things, and it's not something that you always catch. And the comments and jokes, usually, students don't go around saying things like that near the teachers. It's in the cafeteria or in the bathroom when there's no adults around.
I came here when I was in 7th grade, and there was a lot of racism going on in the middle school, and then I never did that. I never stood up. I would always wow, whatever, I don't care. Just ignore it, because I knew it wasn't true.
I've noticed that racism in our school is sort of based around getting in trouble, and punishment for doing the same stuff is harsher on people of color and not so harsh on white people.
We need to acknowledge that there has been a lot of pain and anger around the racism that exists in our schools and in our community.
I think we saw the student protests because students felt they needed their voices to be heard. It was an important moment for our district. We now know that students can contribute to the work that we do in very significant ways, and I think we're going to learn a lot from this experience.
I think this conversation has been very challenging and also very enlightening. As the superintendent of the district, I have been part of the discussion, but I've been keeping a piece of me back because I think I've really wanted to focus on moving the district forward and kind of forgetting the human piece. But this discussion also impacts me very, very personally. And I think that through the events of the last several weeks, particularly the student voice in the protests that occurred, I allowed my heart to come back into the discussion. I personally have a deep investment in kids who are in the school. I have kids in the school district. I feel as though this is the time when we can make a difference.
Well, the change is not going to come right away, but hopefully our siblings can come here and feel comfortable and not feel uncomfortable like we did.
I feel that teachers need to be more educated about looking for and being on the lookout for student behavior and intervening. That's the thing. They just really need to intervene and teach kids about equality and how, again, little comments can make a big difference.
When a teacher punishes a student, they should take a record of who they're punishing, and then at the end of the month or the end of the week or the end of the year, whatever, they look at the numbers and compare white people to people of color and see how the numbers add up.
Over the next 3 years, I'm hoping people would be educated about this stuff, and they would know, so they can teach the new freshmen, and the new freshmen are the ones after that.
The requests or demands that we're hearing from students and community, we want to honor those. We really do. We have no reservation about that whatsoever.
If we were to better educate people, maybe that racism level would drop very much. And I just feel like 3 years from now, when I come back, I just want to see a better relationship between students and teachers.
I'm excited to come back in the fall to a district that really allows students to feel safe, to feel accepted, and to feel celebrated. The protest has started a conversation about race, and I don't want it to end there. I think it's really important that all students feel empowered to have a voice. So that means students of color, of all nationalities, students of every social class, students of every ability, students of every sexuality, of every family type. All of them need to have a place at the table, and they need to feel like their voices are heard.
Now I know how to speak up and like say what's in my mind and like say what's wrong and what's right. And if I feel like something is being done to me and I don't like it, now I know how to speak up.
This has been a challenging year for us. I think the student protests have shown us what we really need to work on as a district. In my role as Director of Diversity and Equity, I see this connected closely to our professional development, creating a culture that allows us to be true listeners, authentic listeners to the voices of our students who have been speaking for years.
The time is now. We need to make changes now for the kids who are in our school today. Students will be returning to a new school year, and they need to see that the school looks very different. Our faculty will be trained in how to respond to incidents, how to identify incidents, and how to change the climate within our schools. We will be using data to show progress, to identify where we have weaknesses, and to show where we need to make goals and change things. That data will be transparent to the public. This is not going to be easy work. This is going to take us some time. But I feel confident that with the support of the community around us and the voice of the students, as we saw in the protest earlier this spring, that we will make the changes that Burlington Schools needs, starting with a return in the fall.